For everybody that knows what we do here, and if you're not familiar, if this is your first time here, we advocate for children first here at the So Do You Dig. Please, guys, you don't need to get offended by my content. I'm going to say some things that might not sit well with your sensibilities. We're going to speak about criminals in our community, in the Black community. We're going to speak about fatherless homes. We're going to say a lot of things that might not sit well with people's sensitivities. If you can't handle that, hit that red exit in the top right corner and just leave my video. Don't subscribe. Don't tell me you're unsubscribing or anything like that. Just go away. For everybody else that supports my channel and supports our message, here we go. There was a 13-year-old girl in Wisconsin who spoke out against gun violence, which I think this is ironic. So I want you guys to think about this. There was a 13-year-old girl that spoke out against gun violence. We speak out against violence against children, and we get attacked in the chat. As you guys can see, there are people posting horrible things about me because of the fact that I say we need fathers in the home and we want the Black violence to stop, and they call me names for that. You guys get that? Does that make sense? Those are the type of people that want us to just say, close your mouth, don't say anything, let whatever's going to happen, happen. Of course, those are not revolutionaries. The only way that we can get better in the Black community is if we continue to speak out against this negative rhetoric and we turn around and let people know what is the missing link. All right, so here we go. She spoke out against gun violence, and guess what? She was killed in Milwaukee this week from a stray bullet. Now, how ironic is that? Authorities say 8th grade student Sandra Parks died on Monday after being shot inside her own home on North 13th Street. Now, thanks to help from members of the community, officers were able to take the 26-year-old Milwaukee man into custody in connection with the shooting, according to a Milwaukee police statement. Now, a second man has since been arrested and charged with unlawful weapons possession. And I'll give you guys their names here in just a moment. Now, in an interview with the local TV station, WISN, Sandra's sister, whose name is Tatiana Ingram, said that at the time of the shooting, Sandra was just sitting watching television. She said this, my sister... Guys, she said, my sister took it like a soldier. She just walked in and said, Mama, I'm shot, Ingram recalled. She was only hit one time in her chest. The bullet wasn't even for her. Dear God, bless me for what I'm about to say against these ignorant ass people that believe that getting shot in the chest is taking it like a soldier, as opposed to somebody who is in shock, that was shot, that spoke out against gun violence. Guys, I'm going to say this and read this again. Again, this ignorant ass person's name is Tatiana Ingram. Tatiana Ingram said, my sister took it like a soldier. Guys, I promise you, you can look this up. Look it up. The article, I got this. You guys can look it up. WISN. Look it up. She said, my sister took it like a soldier. She just walked in and said, Mama, I'm shot. Ingram recalled. She was only hit one time in her chest. The bullet wasn't even for her. Jesus Christ, man. Let's keep going. I don't think people are going to understand. Let's just keep going. While the investigation is ongoing, Milwaukee County prosecutors charge Isaac D. Barnes, who's age 26, with first-degree reckless homicide, among other counts. The other person's name is Untrail Odin, age 27, and yes, you guys heard that right. Untrail. Who names their child Untrail? Untrell. Untrail. Age 27, charged with 2 counts of possession of a firearm by a felon. Only Barnes has been accused of participating in the shooting. His first-degree reckless homicide charge carries a sentence of up to 60 years in prison. That doesn't mean that's what he's going to actually get, but that's what he could potentially be facing. Right? Let's keep going. Should he be convicted, Odin faces up to 10 years in prison for each charge. It was unclear if either man has entered a plea or retained an attorney who could comment on their behalf. Both men remain behind bars according to jail records. The suspect charged in the fatal shooting of 13-year-old Milwaukee girl, and her name is Sandra Parks. Again, the author of an essay, an award-winning essay, by the way, that spoke against gun violence. They made their first court appearance on Saturday, November 24th, which was today. Earlier that day, we learned Barnes was due in court for an open case involving driving a vehicle without the owner's consent. He stole a damn car. He never showed up, and Barnes' bail has been set at $200,000. Odin's bail has been set at $50,000. A preliminary hearing for both men has been set for Monday, December 3rd at 1:30 p.m., so you guys stand by for that. Excuse me. Loyal Love said he will be let out to terrorize again. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. But let's keep going. There's a little bit more to tell about this story because it gets a little bit more interesting. A policewoman said Wednesday the motive for the shooting is still being determined because, of course, we would like to know that. And this is coming from the Milwaukee Police Department. They didn't immediately respond to requests for comment. Now, in a copy of the complaint, a detective reported that according to Sandra's mother, Bernice Parks, that's her mom, at the time of the shooting, both she and her daughters were at the home on North 13th Street. While Bernice went to bed around 7 that night, her kids had stayed awake to watch TV. About 7:45 p.m., Bernice said she was awoken by the sound of gunfire. According to the complaint, the thing she heard was Sandra yelling, "I'm shot, I'm shot." After going into the living room, she found her daughter lying on the floor bleeding, which is absolutely sad. So I'll say this to Bernice and to everybody else that watches this story. In no shape, form, or fashion do I mean any disrespect to the family. Because they have a right to live where they live. And this little girl seemed like she was a very intelligent young girl. It seemed like her mind and heart was in the right place. This is why this story really bothers me. It really, really bothers me. Because the ones that actually could make a difference once they make it out of the hood, it seems like they're the ones that are cut down. It seems like our ignorant people in the hood are the ones that are thriving. When our beautiful young sisters like this that have their mind and their heart in the right place are never given a fair shake. And for what? What did this baby die for? For what? And on top of that, I tell you guys this. Every day that I'm on this show, it's kind of like I'm writing a book of my life in an account of things that I think and the things that I feel and the things that are happening on a day-to-day basis. And she saw the things that were going on in her community and she spoke out against it. It's so strange how some kind of way she's the one that ends up dead. They had a GoFundMe up. This is the GoFundMe. But you guys don't worry about that because they asked for $20,000. They've gotten that and some. So the GoFundMe is already fulfilled. So there's no need to worry about that. But if you guys want to look it up, there was a GoFundMe, but they've already fulfilled the GoFundMe. Okay. So here we go. Let's keep going. Although members of the police, the Milwaukee Police Department and the Milwaukee Fire Department both tried to save the child's life after arriving at the residence, Sandra was pronounced dead at the scene. And if she was hit in the chest, was such a young baby, man. I just, I don't see how she would have survived something like that. Another detective recovered 6 spent casings in front of the roadway and observed 4 bullet strikes to the window where Sandra had been watching TV. An autopsy performed by the Milwaukee County Medical Examiner's Office found that Sandra suffered a single gunshot wound to the upper right flank area and she died of blood loss. It's hard to read this. The complaint states that the woman who identified herself as Barnes' ex-girlfriend told detectives she came across Barnes the night of the shooting while parked outside her sister's home nearby. The woman said Barnes had allegedly approached her vehicle wearing a mask and holding a large AK-47 style firearm. Would you guys like me to read that again? The woman said Barnes had allegedly approached her vehicle wearing a mask and holding a large AK-47 style firearm. Later, while looking door to door, detectives were able to recover 2 firearms in a residence where they also found Barnes hiding in a closet, the complaint states. Odin was found at the same location. Wow. Odin allegedly went to tell detectives that he saw Barnes shooting an unknown target as they were walking from the store. Authorities say he had also admitted that Barnes had approached him about keeping his guns at Odin's home and that he had handled both of the guns in the past. So he's aiding and abetting a criminal. And on top of that, who was this fool's target? How do you miss that badly? Like, what the fuck are you shooting at? What are they shooting at? The fact that they ain't hitting their targets, whatever their targets are, and I'm not saying they need to be doing that at all because they shouldn't, but they are shooting and missing and killing innocent people. Right? Now, I want to remind you guys, when Sandra was in the 6th grade, she won 3rd place in the 2016-2017 Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. writing contest, according to Milwaukee Teachers Education Association. This is it. And I'm going to have a little bit of trouble reading this, so you guys bear with me. We got almost 300 people in the building. If y'all could, hit the thumbs up. It'll share the show and let other people know that we're alive. Because what we're doing at this point, not doing it that way, not doing it how we did back in the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, is we're allowing people like the people that shot her, like Barnes and Untrail, we're allowing those type of people to be born into this world and not have the balance and not be able to clinically think properly. And they turn around and they're affecting everybody else. So it's kind of like having cancer in your body. If you allow that cancer to stay there, if you don't treat that cancer, what's going to happen? These 2 men are what's known as cancer in the black community. What happens if you leave them in the black community as cancer? Everybody understand? All right. This is hard. This is her essay. Excuse me. I'll read her essay here in just a moment. They quote, "Sometimes I sit back and I have to escape from what I see and hear every day. I put my headphones on and I let the music take me away. I move to the beat and I try to think about life and what everything means. When I do, I come to the same conclusion. We are in a state of chaos," which is what she wrote in her essay titled Our Truth. "In the city in which I live, I see examples of chaos almost every day," she continued. "Little children are victims of senseless gun violence." Sandra wrote, "We must not allow the lies of violence, racism, and prejudice to be our truth. The truth begins with us. Instead of passing each other like ships in the night, we must fight until our truth stretch to the ends of the world." Guys, tell me that's not powerful. They said this. Sandra's mom said, "My baby did not like violence. Why should she, though?" Bernice told the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, "She was my angel from the time she was in my womb to the time she came out. There was a GoFundMe created by Bernice to raise money to help pay for her young daughter's memorial service, reaching its fundraising goal within just 2 days. As of this writing, there was more than $20,000 that's been donated." So kudos to the mom for asking for that and getting that, and I just hope that they do the right thing with it and give their baby a proper send-off. Guys, not only did I read an excerpt from her essay, but I want you guys to hear it from her. And I'm telling you guys, as much as this is sad, I want you guys to also just think the fact that they caught the people that did it, and the fact that we just want to use this as another example of why we need fathers in the home. Hashtag, where are the fathers? Tell me where you guys hear about the fathers in any of these stories that we do, okay? Let's go ahead and give you guys the fair usage of this content, and we're going to go ahead and start our first video. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
News today at 5. 2 men are now charged in the shooting death of a 13-year-old Milwaukee girl. Sandra Parks was hit by a bullet inside her home Monday night at 13th and Hopkins. According to a criminal complaint, 26-year-old Isaac Barnes shot into the home at least 4 times with an AK-47 style weapon. The other man, 27-year-old Untrell Oden, is accused of helping hide the gun. Both men are in custody. The motive for the shooting remains unclear.
Again, I would definitely like to know why it happened, but that story, I guess, is going to have to come out at a later point.
For too many families, there is an empty place at the Thanksgiving table today, a place where a loved one is supposed to be sitting, but instead they fell victim to gun violence. One of those tables is in Milwaukee, where 13-year-old Sandra Parks should be sitting. She was killed in her own home this week by a stray bullet that ripped through her bedroom. We are left with heartbreak for the family and her last words, "Mama, I'm shot." We're also left with these words on the violence in Milwaukee. Little children are victims of senseless gun violence. I sit back and I have to escape from what I see and hear every day. When I do, I come to the same conclusion. We are in a state of chaos. Those words coming from then 11-year-old Sandra Parks in an award-winning essay on gun violence. CNN correspondent Stephanie Elam joining me now. This is a heartbreaking story. I mean, this is hard to even read this intro, Stephanie. How's this family doing?
Devastated, obviously, Brianna, when you think about the fact that this is Thanksgiving week that this happened. She was killed on Monday. She was sitting in her bedroom watching TV when this bullet came through the window and hit her. Just one shot hit her in the chest. Her older sister saying that their mother called her first to say that she'd been shot, and just talking about the fact that when she was hit, Sandra managed to get up from her bed and make her way to her mom where she passed away. Take a listen to what her mom, well, first her sister.
Man, that hurts to hear that, man. Golly.
And what her mom had to say.
She just walked in the room and said, "Mama, I'm shot." And she's shot. Oh, I'm gonna miss my baby. She was the star. She was a star. Not just in my eyes, but everybody else's eyes.
Her sister described her as bright, beautiful, and full of life. And the fact that she wrote this essay 2 years ago, and then for this to be her demise when she was sitting at home minding her own business, it's still unclear at this point, Brianna, at what the alleged shooter was targeting. It's not clear.
That's what I want to know. I want to know what they were targeting. This is the sister. I'm assuming, I guess she lives in the same house. I wonder how old she is. I mean, I'm just curious. But this is Tatiana, the Tatiana that said she took it like a soldier. Okay. I wanted to say thank you to Mimi Loves that just donated. I want to say thank you also to my brother Super T that just sent something through. Let me give a shout out also to I think this is Tammy B, if I'm not mistaken. Tammy B. I appreciate that. Thank you, Tammy B. Where you at in the chat? Why you never report white crimes? Shamaz, because I'll start reporting white crimes for the people that want me to start reporting white crimes. You guys put one video on your page where you reported a white crime, and I'll follow suit. But if you don't have no content up, don't tell me what to do with my content. Guys, that's the type of stuff. That's the type of stuff that we're up against. I'm talking about how wrong it is that people are committing violence against children, and these people are saying, well, white people do it too. So are you saying that this little girl's life doesn't matter? Is that what you're saying? Like, what the hell are you saying by white people do it too? Why should I give a damn about white people doing it too when there is an innocent little... See, that's the game that y'all can't play with me, because there is a dead black girl here, and I'm saying that these black men need to be thrown under the damn jail and throw away the key. And you're saying, but white people do it too. Why are you telling me that this little black girl's life was insignificant? Why? Why can't I talk about her life? Why can't I say that she did something positive? That's why this is when it starts to get really weird. It might be a little convoluted for some of you folks. Maybe when people are talking about grown adults and the things that they do, maybe you might be able to dispute that somewhere. I don't know how you do. I definitely don't agree that I don't think you can. But let's just say if you do dispute that. How can you dispute this? How can you say I'm wrong for talking about two grown black men with AK-47s that shot into a person's house and killed a 13-year-old girl? I'm wrong for telling the world that this little girl should not have been shot, and she spoke against the type of violence the same way that we do. That's when it gets weird. That's when it gets really weird. God did not... Pretty Nay Smith. This might be your first time here, sweetheart. I want to encourage you and implore you to look at this. God told us not to judge is a lie. That's a lie. You did not read that in the Bible. That's a lie. Because guess who judges us when we die? People say only God can judge me. Well, think about this. If God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit are the same entity, and he judges, and we are supposed to be quote unquote Christ-like, then what do you think that means for us to do? Just asking a question. I'm not mad at you for even saying that, but I just want you to think about what you're saying, because it's actually inaccurate. I know Tommy's really good at the Bible, but I also used to be a counselor at a Christian camp back in the day. So there are some things that I am familiar with. So I want you to just think about that, because too many times people are quick to say, only God can judge me, but it's wrong. That's actually wrong. That's way wrong. Tammy, say something in the chat again. I don't know why I can't find your name. Tammy B, say something in the chat. If you guys think about it, if God judges us, and the word Christian means Christ-like, little Christians, that's the literal definition of the word. If we are to be Christ-like, then we also are to act Christ-like. Christ judge, God judge, Jesus judge, the Holy Spirit judges. Why should we not? If we are to be Christ-like. But let's not talk about this Bible stuff. Let's watch these videos real quick. 300 people in the building. If you're new, hit the thumbs up, please.
She just walked in the room and said, "Mama, I'm shot." And she's shot.
This is her sister, the one that says she took it like a soldier.
To say.
She just walked in the room and said, "Mama, I'm shot." And she's shot. I'm gonna miss my baby.
And that one right there, let me see if I can get to it.
I'm gonna miss my baby.
That's the mom right there. So that's the mom, and the one that you saw before that was the sister.
She was the star. She was a star. Not just in my eyes, but everybody else's eyes.
Her sister described her as bright, beautiful, and full of life. And the fact that she wrote this essay 2 years ago, and then for this to be her demise when she was sitting at home minding her own business, it's still unclear at this point, Brianna, at what the alleged shooter was targeting. It's not clear. We know that 2 men have been arrested and have been charged, a 26-year-old man and a 27-year-old man. The alleged shooter is charged with first-degree reckless homicide, and he was reportedly found hiding in a closet when police came to
So he had to come out of the closet. How ironic is that?
apprehend them.
Stephanie Elam, thank
So the dude that shot went and hid in the closet, and he had to come out of the closet. Wow.
you for that report. And of course, we are thinking of that family. What a difficult day for them.
He had to come out of the closet. Amazing. Amazing timing.
2 men charged in the murder of a 13-year-old girl by the name of Sandra Parks. According to the criminal complaint, Isaac Barnes fired several shots into Parks' home at 13th and Hopkins. Police later found Barnes inside a closet in a home on Locust. Antrell Odine is now charged with hiding the gun for Barnes. New at 6, the community is pouring in support for the Parks family.
Katie Crowther spoke with a teacher who had Sandra in class.
KW0728 was exactly right. That's a coward to take an AK-47 and shoot indiscriminately and then go hide in the closet, and then you have to come out of the closet. Oh, I'm sure they're going to love him in jail coming out of the closet, right? Hopefully you guys caught that.
The day she was killed.
Shannon and Charles, this crime and the timing of it is just horrific. Sandra Parks' family is left.
Was it a mistake? We don't know. We still don't have a motive. Who was he shooting at? Because they say 4 bullets hit the house. 1 of them hit the girl in the chest.
Planning the 13-year-old's funeral rather than Thanksgiving dinner. Friends, community members, even complete strangers are now rallying around them.
And let them know that we as a community, we don't tolerate this. Like when one loses a child, we all lose a child.
If they really believed in this community, like I said, I think they would just believe in having fathers in the household.
Kamanzi Adari teaches writing and spoken word and was with Sandra Parks at school just hours before she was killed Monday.
The class was getting a little bit talkative, and she actually got up, checked the class, calmed them down like she had that grandmama mama spirit, and told everyone, listen, I really need to, I need y'all to be quiet because we're trying to make a project out of this thing. And that was vivid memories of that.
Which is awesome, meaning that she could have potentially been a leader, and I like that. I really do. Sandra Parks was probably supposed to be a leader, and she was cut down by her own kind in her own neighborhood. The people that she was raised around. That's amazing. But you guys also noticed the condition of the classroom is that they said all the kids were being disruptive and apparently wasn't listening to the teacher, but yet they listened to Sandra Parks. Apparently, they didn't respect the man that was in the classroom. Did you guys catch that? They didn't respect the man in the classroom that tried to get them to calm down, but they listened to Sandra Parks. Put a pin in that. We'll come back to it.
Sandra's winning essay on violence in Milwaukee has gone viral in the days after her death. Kamanzi says she wrote many other wonderful essays and poems that need to be heard.
We're going to get her words together. We're going to publish them, make sure if there's some proceeds can be generated, that they go to the family, and then the whole world is going to hear this child's voice.
And the collective voice of her neighborhood, vowing to try and end these senseless shootings.
And in this case, we need everything on deck, from the awareness, the education, community involvement, parent involvement, and most definitely job creation things so that we could feed people and have ways they could feed themselves that could lower the crime rate.
And you guys notice what this white skinned brother said. He spoke all of that good stuff, but didn't mention anything about the fact that these young boys that grow up to be young thugs and idiots with AK-47s, they should have had fathers. So we're just going to continue to ignore that point, right?
Alderman Russell Stamper says he's working with residents in this neighborhood to set up block captains, neighborhood watches, and monthly meetings.
Get the fuck out of here. Block captains? Where are the fathers at? Come on, man. Come on. No. You don't need more mentors. You need fathers in every single home. Now, let me get back on subject. I know I'm off subject just a bit, but I want you guys to hear her essay spoken with her own words. Guys, this is going to be a little bit difficult to swallow. Here we go. Also, thank you to, we had Kitten Paws BB donated. Thank you very much. This one comes from Miss Parker in the chat. Thank you very much. And also Sherry C. I'm not going to read your whole name. So thank you very much. We got a few more people that donated. Thank you guys. Let's keep going.
Steve New at 10, in her own words, a young girl writes a winning essay about gun violence in Milwaukee 2 years before she's killed by a bullet in her own home.
We need to rewrite our story so that faith and hope for a better tomorrow is not only within us, but we believe it and we put it into action.
That young girl is only 13 years old. She's Sandra Parks, an 8th grade student, a daughter, a friend, a sister. Tonight, family and friends honored the teen. She is the 7th child from the Milwaukee public school system to be murdered this year. Rebecca Clough joins us from the newsroom. Rebecca.
Sandra Parks was in her bedroom last night, Carol, near 13th and Hopkins, when someone shot into her house, killing her. In an essay she wrote 2 years before her death, she talked about hoping to see an end to violence in her neighborhood.
Also, catch that. That means her neighborhood is filled with violence. Why is she living in a violence-driven neighborhood? If they know this neighborhood was violence and she spoke about this 2 years prior, that was a plea. That was a cry for help. Why was she left in this violent driven neighborhood? Why? Think about that. 2 years. You had 2 years that you could have fixed this and you just left her there. She was telling you how bad this neighborhood was and you left her there anyway. The fact that she had to write an essay about it. Think about that.
Here's what she said.
We shall overcome has been a lost in lies of who we are, who we have become.
The words of then 11-year-old Sandra Parks as she reads her essay on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Our first truth is that we must start caring about each other.
A message her friends and family want to continue. They came together tonight to remember the young girl with dreams of changing the world. A world she told Wisconsin Public Radio in 2017 had too much death.
In my own words, it will be really violent because the world that we have become now is like that. All you hear about is somebody dying and somebody getting shot, and people do not just think about who father or son or granddaughter or grandson that you just killed.
Do you look forward to doing big things in your lives?
When I take over, I would like to stop all the violence and negativity that's going on.
Now her mother needs the community to take up that cause for her.
She was a star that was trying to get out, but she didn't know how.
Somebody in the chat said, why would I assume that there are no fathers around? Look at this picture and tell me how many fathers you see. It's just I think that people just want to talk through us, talk around us, ignore our point. Ricky Towns, look at this picture and you tell me where the fathers are. Where? That's why I said I'm not assuming. I said hashtag where are the fathers. If the fathers are there, then show me. We got 300 people watching the show. 300 people. If I'm missing the father somewhere, show me. Don't worry, I'll wait. Almost 80% of black children, I think it's 82% of black children are born outside of wedlock. And if women are saying to you guys that the fathers are not in the homes and that the men ain't shit and they have multiple babies by multiple men that are not in the household and largely black women are unmarried, then that would tell you that there is no fucking man in the house. Don't just say you're wrong. Prove your point. Stereotype is nothing but a word. That's it. Stereotype is nothing but a word. The difference is the actions behind it. So if they say that the black community is violent and then blacks are doing nothing but the most violence in the United States of America, more than half of it are coming from black men that are incarcerated at a 58% rate over the rest of the United States of America, then don't say that's a stereotype. That is a statistical fact. It's a statistical fact that this is something you can prove. It's something you can see. You don't see an overabundance of fathers in the household of the black community. You do not see our black women with this thing around their finger and them being hand in hand like this with the man that they're married to that is the man of the father of their children. You don't see that. That's not common. The fact that most black women are being taught by their mothers, don't expect to get married, and these are the things that you need to do in order to survive, having babies for benefits, getting on Section 8, getting on food stamps, getting on welfare, getting your car vouchers, and then thinking about your education and claiming that we're the most educated, but you're not claiming that you're the most married. You're not claiming that you have the highest in wedlock birth rate. You're not claiming any of the positive things that get you somewhere. Men aren't choosing women for their education. I'm sorry, they're not. If we want to just be real shallow about it, men are choosing women based on how they look. Men are the ones supposed to be the providers and the protectors. And you're not using them for anything that they were built for. Men are built for amazing things, and women are using men for the most, like literally for nothing other than the seeds that they provide. Women aren't even using men for sex anymore, if you guys think about it. Women are using men literally for their semen. That's it. Semen and paychecks, babies for benefits. You take that away from the man and you leave the rest of it. Where's the protection in the household? It does not exist. There is nobody to combat the evils in the hood. When this little girl, Sandra Parks, age 13 years old, speaks against the violence, if she would have wrote that to her father that was living in her household, the father would have did something about it. That's not a blight on the mother. What we're saying is that's how important the father is. Again, we're not going to put that on the mother. We're just going to say that's how important it would have been to have a father in the household. You tell a father that, he sees the violence, he does something. He either protects it or he uproots his family and they move away from it. They get to safer places.
Don't never forget my baby.
We need to rewrite our story so that faith and hope for a better tomorrow is not only within us, but we believe it and we put it into action.
Hey, I feel you, sweetheart. We definitely need to stop talking about it and be about it. Too many black people want us to continue to keep talking about it, and I'm telling you guys exactly what you need to do. If you don't have women, if you don't have men, if you're unmarried, if you don't have children, then you guys are going to be the ones that are going to be able to start a new trend. Get married, then have babies, have families.
This 8th grade girl from Milwaukee wrote this compelling essay about the impact of gun violence, was tragically shot and killed by a stray bullet as she was in her own home. Our affiliate, WISN, reports 13-year-old Sandra Parks was watching TV in her bedroom when this bullet blew through the window and hit her chest. The teen died in front of her mother. 2 years ago, Sandra wrote this award-winning essay about the constant shootings in her neighborhood and how it affected her life, and it's called Our Truth. And
you guys hear that? Listen to it again.
Mother. 2 years ago, Sandra wrote this award-winning essay about the constant shootings in her neighborhood and how
the constant shootings in her neighborhood. Constant, constant, constant. And you're going to stay in a neighborhood that has constant shooting? Constant.
the teen died in front of her mother. 2 years ago, Sandra wrote this award-winning essay about the constant shootings in her neighborhood and how it affected her life, and it's called Our Truth. And just on this Thanksgiving, I want to read every single word of it for you. So this is what she wrote. Sometimes I sit back and I have to escape from what I see and hear every day. I put my headphones on and let the music take me away. I move to the beat and try to think about life and what everything means. When I do, I come to the same conclusion. We are in a state of chaos. In the city in which I live, I hear and see examples of chaos almost every day. Little children are victims of senseless gun violence.
She's speaking about multiple children being victims of gun violence.
Almost every day. Little children are victims of senseless gun violence. There is too much black-on-black crime.
What? Woo-wee! Let's rewind that. Sandra Parks, if you can hear us in heaven, sweetheart, I feel you. I feel you. I feel you, sister. You deserve better. I feel you. What did she just say? Let's hear that again. God rest her soul. Listen to this again.
There is too much black-on-black crime. As an African American, that makes me feel depressed. Children are victims of senseless gun violence. There is too much black-on-black crime. Gun violence. There is too much black-on-black crime. Gun violence. There is too much black-on-black crime. Gun violence. There is too much black-on-black crime.
All right, so for the guy that I just had to time out a little while ago, sir, because you type too much and you don't listen enough. That's probably the same thing that you did in school. You talk too much and you didn't listen. So listen from a grown man, a real man. Listen to this. This little girl, Sandra Parks, age 13 years old. Are you now going to deny this now deceased girl's words and tell me that she's wrong when she's lived it and she also was a victim of the exact same thing that I speak against? You look into your heart before you take your fingers to type another fucking message in my chat. And you tell me that Sandra Parks was wrong. Sandra Parks is speaking on stereotypes. Sandra Parks doesn't know what she's talking about. I've seen violence. I've been around it. I know what it looks like. I know who perpetrates it. Stereotyping is nothing but a word. The actions is what's significant. Now you tell me, because I knew when I read the story, I knew the message, I knew what her essay said. Her own words said the most detrimental thing is not the white man. It's not the white stories that aren't being reported. It's not the numbers being skewed by the white government. It's not about President Donald Trump. What did this baby say, bro? What did this baby say? This baby, she's a baby. She's like my daughter's age. God rest her soul. This baby said, black on black violence is the problem. Like Tupac said, they say it's the white man I should fear, but who's doing all the killing out here? They say it's the white man I should fear, but it's my own kind doing all the killing here. Y'all think about that, please. That's powerful, man. That's powerful.
Children are victims of senseless gun violence. There is too much black on black crime. As an African American, that makes me feel depressed. Many people have lost faith in America and its ability to be a living example of Dr. King's dream. The truth is faith and hope in what people can do and has been lost in the poor choices we make. We shall overcome has been lost in the lie of who we have become.
Wow. Y'all act like y'all want to defend black women and black girls. Listen at her own words. You know, it's so weird. It's so ironic. The fact that she's speaking out against violence and speaking out against the messed up mentality that black people have today. And you know what niggas did? Niggas went and killed her. And you know what? They're going to suffer. And I hope they suffer. I hope they suffer immensely. How can you deny the words of a 13-year-old girl who's speaking the truth right now? How? How?
Overcome has been lost in the lie of who we have become.
Lost in the lie of who we have become, meaning that we are not of the days of Martin Luther King Jr. We are something completely different now, and it's not a good thing. That's what she's saying.
So now the real truth is we need to rewrite our story so that faith and hope for a better tomorrow is not only within us, but we believe it and we put it into action. Our first truth is that we must start caring about each other.
We must start caring about each other. Listen to that again.
Truth is that we must start caring about each other. Truth is that we must start caring about each other. It into action. Our first truth is that we must start caring about each other.
Everybody catch that?
We need to be empathetic and try to walk in others' shoes. We shall overcome when we eliminate the negative and nasty comments people make about each other.
Ooh. For the people that are getting blocked and timed out in the chat. Ooh, let's hear that again. What are y'all calling me? Who called me a coon in the chat earlier? Who called me a sellout? Who called me an Uncle Tom? Who called me like being stereotypical?
Shall overcome when we eliminate the negative and nasty comments people make about each other. We shall overcome when we love ourselves and the people around us. Then we become our brother's keeper. Our second truth is that we need to...
What do you say? She's a 13-year-old girl. She don't know what's really going on, Big Brother Soto. Hebrew History Channel, I'm going to tell you like this. Because if I was to be in front of you right now, I would tell you the same thing. She's a 13-year-old girl. She's very intelligent. There were people that gave her an award based on the words that she used in this essay. My daughter is 11 years old, and I know how intelligent she is. I have grown people conversations with my baby, and she's able to digest and discern each and everything that I tell her ever since she was a baby, since she first started learning how to talk. So you mean to tell me that a girl that's 2 years older than my daughter is not smart enough to call out against the violence in the black-on-black community? I wish I could say it to your face. People that have met me in person, shout out to the people that came to the Dallas show. And I will be going to more shows. They know that the same thing that I say on the internet is the same thing that I will say to your face. Hebrew Channel or whatever your name is, check yourself. Because I am a father, I've been a counselor and a mentor and all kind of stuff. A teacher and a leader. She don't know what she's talking about. I just told you that she does. I'm validating what she said. I have 450 videos on my channel that is validating what she's talking about. If y'all want to preach that pro-black stuff, then take it and go give it to somebody that gives a shit. Because I don't. We don't. Your pro-black rhetoric is killing us. Uplift the queen. That's bullshit. Uplift the queen and things will get better. It's getting worse. You people are horrible people. You pro-blacks suck. Your message does not work. You want to talk about Israel? You want to talk about Hebrew? You want to talk about all of this stuff? You want to talk about Kemet? You want to talk about we was kangs and queens back in the ancient Kemet days and we this and that, such and such? What does that have to do with the fact that the black community was doing quite well in the 30s, 40s, 50s, almost all the way up into the 60s? What changed? The thing that changed, if you pay attention to just a little bit of history, you don't have to go back to slavery. You don't have to go back to ancient Kemet history. All you have to do, excuse me, I'm still sick, but I'm going to talk to you anyway. You don't have to go back that far. All you have to do is go back prior to 1964. What changed? Fathers being asked to leave the household for the mothers to take advantage of government benefits was the thing that changed. It is called Title 4-D. The Great Society. Vote for Democrat. And things have never been worse in the black community. And we are almost going into 2019 since 1964. And it has not gotten better. It's gotten progressively worse.
Shall overcome when we love ourselves and the people around us. Then we become our brother's keeper. Our second truth is that we need to have purpose.
We need to have purpose. How many times have I told you guys the things that the black boys are missing is purpose? What is their purpose? What is their value? They have no value because they didn't have their fathers in their lives. And they turn around and they impose that on the rest of society. Is that not what I've said?
We become our brother's keeper. Our second truth is that we need to have purpose. We are the future generation. Therefore, we must have an education to make a positive difference in the world. We are the future leaders, but if we don't have an education, we will accomplish nothing. We will overcome when we use our education to make the world a better place. We will become the next president, law enforcement officers, teachers, doctors, lawyers, and lawmakers. We cannot...
All of the things that blacks are currently not striving to be. Doctors, lawyers, police officers. Again, rest in peace, Sandra Parks, sister. You are speaking the truth, and I love what you're saying.
Continue to put the responsibility on other people. It is the responsibility as future leaders. We must not allow the lies of violence, racism, and prejudice to be our truth. The truth begins with us. Instead of passing each other like ships in the night, we must fight until our truths stretch to the ends of the world. Here is Sandra's mom in her own words.
I love that. Look, I want to cut it right there. That was beautiful. I don't even want it to be watered down. That was beautiful. Guys, we've been over 300 viewers here most of the show. I'd like to thank you guys so much for joining the show. It's a very powerful show, and I knew it was going to be. I would have cut it right there because we've given you guys a lot of information. I've said a lot of things, and I told you guys it would be hard for you guys to digest it. The chat has proven that. There are some people in the chat that have proven to me that it's very hard for them to digest what I'm saying. I'm a man that some people think I have a lot of patience, but I really don't. Not for bullshit, because I don't. I really don't. But I'll tell you guys this. This is what needs to happen. What needs to happen is that we have to have fathers in the households. We have to start showing our boys value from men, from their fathers, right? From there, once we fix the boys and we put fathers in these girls' lives, the fathers will teach the girls their value. That's what I'm doing with my daughter. She has a very high value of herself. She has a very high self-esteem of herself. She is doing amazing in school. She is very well spoken. She's very intelligent, very intuitive, and she's a leader. You know why she gets that? Because her mother chose a father that wanted her, and a father that is there and have been there since the moment that she came from her mother. A father that has been there from the moment she conceived, from every moment that she had a doctor's appointment and everything else. A father that's been there literally from the start and is still there. Watching my baby develop, and you know who you are. I love you. I'm not going to put your name out there because I want these people messing with my baby because I be done hurt somebody. But again, I relate so much to this because my daughter is so close to this girl's age. And it's sad. We're cutting down our brightest. We're not giving these children a chance if we don't give them a nuclear family. Mother and father in the home. They both matter. They say, well, your mother carried you, but the mother can only carry you if the father's seed is delivered. They both matter. They both have value. And we don't need to continue to keep going to the government and asking the government to fix us. When we are ready to wake the fuck up, when we, us that are watching the screen right now, when we are ready to wake up, we can fix us. When we are ready to put down the excuses, put down the bull crap, and put down the barriers and say